Welcome everyone to the Things Around 8. Dear friends, in this video we will talk about the options that Germany is considering to increase its military contingent. All this so, according to their Minister of Defense, they can be prepared in case Russia attacks. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any news. After returning from a visit to the United States in early May, Boris Pistorius, German Defense Minister, announced a series of measures that aim, according to him, to increase Germany's ability to defend itself in a new, much more insecure European context after the invasion. Russian defense of Ukraine in February 2022. In his announcement, the German defense minister said that these measures are the most comprehensive since the Second World War and will include, above all, heavy investment in this sector, with Germany expected to achieve, in 2025, the investment level of 2% of GDP in the defense sector, the minimum investment limit suggested by NATO. Pistorius also reported that he is already thinking about renewing the €100 billion fund announced in 2022 by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz to increase readiness and allow the acquisition of more military equipment for the German armed forces. According to the German minister, this fund will be exhausted between 2027 and 2028. Therefore, it is important for Germany to create, now, the foundations for a new fund of the same nature. Germany's great Achilles heel, which became very evident after the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, is the extremely low readiness of the German armed forces. Thanks to their advanced engineering and heavy industry, the Germans have some of the best and most advanced defense equipment in the world, in practically all areas, starting in the skies, with fighters like the Eurofighter Typhoon, and soon, with the F-35, with Germany actively participating in the aircraft's development. On land, Germany has developed what is seen as Europe's most advanced fourth-generation armored vehicle, the Leopard 2, supported by vehicles such as the Puma, an infantry fighting vehicle armed with a powerful 30mm cannon, and the Boxer, a very modular troop transport vehicle adaptable to various missions. In the field of artillery, Germany also developed very advanced equipment, such as the 155mm PZH-2000, capable of, among other things, firing 5 consecutive and synchronized shots, so that they all hit the target at exactly the same time. The Germans are also experts in the area of radars and electronic warfare, also standing out in the very important area of drones, thanks to strategic partnerships with powers in the area, such as Israel. Another area where the Germans impress is in air defense, with systems such as the Iris TSL, with a range of up to 40 kilometers, against targets up to 20 kilometers in altitude. Therefore, as we can see, in the area of technology, the Germans are among the most advanced in the world. Despite all this technology, as I said at the beginning, Germany has a major readiness problem, with this problem also extending to its military contingent, with the Bundeswehr, the name of the German armed forces, having only 180,000 soldiers in the active and a reserve of less than 35,000 elements. When we compare this contingent with the armed forces of great military powers such as Russia, with an estimated number of around 1.2 million soldiers and a reserve of more than 500,000, we see how precarious Germany's situation is in this area. Even with all the high technology, mechanization and automation, the German armed forces still need arms and legs on the battlefield. With the Russian invasion of Ukraine showing, very clearly and explicitly, that the number of soldiers available continues to be an essential element for success in any conflict. Many believe that the 1991 Gulf War, which involved nearly 1 million alliance troops against 1 million Iraqi troops, was the last conflict with a very large number of soldiers participating. However, what we are seeing now in Ukraine are armies of hundreds of thousands of soldiers fighting in endless battles in an authentic war of attrition the likes of which have not been seen since the Second World War. For this type of combat, having a high number of soldiers is essential, and that is precisely what Germany does not have. And it is to change this that the German minister proposed 3 options, aiming to increase the number of soldiers, with the first being the softest, and involving the sending of information material to schools and the homes of young people between 17 and 18 years old. Through this material, which will also exist in digital format, the German armed forces intend to present themselves to young people in a more modern and accessible language for this new generation. The second option involves mandatory completion of a form by all 18-year-old males, where they would receive the option to join military service in exchange for a package classified by the Germans as interesting. But if none of these options achieve the intended objective, then the German minister recognizes that the only solution is the mandatory conscription of all 18-year-olds. In other words, all young people must present themselves for military service, with the armed forces selecting the most capable, depending on the number of vacancies open. Through this measure, Germany intends to triple the number of active military personnel over the next 3 or 4 years. This is also reflected in the number of reservists, which according to the German Ministry of Defense, would reach the mark of 120,000 by 2028. Similar measures are being adopted by other European nations, with emphasis on Poland, which has been in place for almost 5 years, in a broad process of expansion and modernization of its armed forces, a process that was greatly accelerated by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Minister Pistorius made a point of emphasizing that all these measures must always be seen within the scope of NATO. In other words, Germany's objective is not to have armed forces with the same number of soldiers, armor and planes as Russia, especially because it would be impossible in the current budgetary context. Germany's objective is, according to Pistorius, that NATO, as a defense collective, has sufficient resources so that, in the event of Russian aggression, it can respond immediately and thus guarantee the security of Europe. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any news.